Starting off this list right at number 1, Astro Bot is an absolute gem that PlayStation fans and platformer lovers need to experience. Developed by Team Asobi, this game is a heartfelt tribute to the entire PlayStation legacy, packed into a colorful, tightly designed adventure. With over 50 unique worlds to explore, each level brings a completely different challenge and visual theme that keeps things fresh all the way through. The gameplay itself is wonderfully intuitive, blending classic jump and run mechanics with inventive gadget use that evolves with every stage. Characters from iconic PlayStation franchises make appearances throughout, giving longtime fans those surprise moments that feel genuinely rewarding. The controls are incredibly responsive, making every jump and dodge feel precise and satisfying. For anyone looking for a modern platformer that delivers on all fronts, Astro Bot is the gold standard right now.
Number 2 brings us to Hollow Knight Silksong, one of the most anticipated releases in gaming history that finally arrived and lived up to the massive hype surrounding it. Developed by Team Cherry, this Metroidvania builds on everything the original Hollow Knight did so brilliantly, while expanding the universe in genuinely surprising directions. Players control Hornet this time around, a nimble and aggressive fighter whose combat style feels completely different from the original protagonist. The world design is layered with secrets and interconnected areas that reward thorough exploration, and the enemy variety keeps encounters consistently engaging from start to finish. The hand-drawn art style continues to impress with detailed environments that shift beautifully between biomes. The difficulty is challenging but fair, offering that satisfying progression curve that fans of the genre crave deeply and consistently. Coming in at number 3 is Donkey Kong Bananza, a triumphant return for one of Nintendo's most beloved franchises that proves there is plenty of life left in this iconic platforming series. Set during a chaotic gold rush in the Kong Kingdom, players navigate expansive sandbox levels filled with destructible environments that genuinely change how you approach each stage. The addition of a new sidekick opens up cooperative mechanics that add a fun dimension to an already rich gameplay experience. The level design is creative and layered, encouraging players to dig underground and explore above ground equally to uncover hidden secrets and progression paths. Controls feel tight and responsive, giving both new players and longtime fans a great entry point into the franchise. The nostalgic touches blend seamlessly with modern design sensibilities, making this one of the strongest platformers of the year, without question. Number 4 on the list is Split Fiction, the latest from Hazelight Studios, and arguably one of the most creative cooperative platformers ever made in the genre. Players control 2 writers who find themselves trapped inside virtual game worlds and must work together to escape through increasingly imaginative levels. Each world has its own unique mechanics and visual style, from sci-fi landscapes to fantasy realms, ensuring the experience never feels repetitive or stale. The cooperative design forces players to communicate and coordinate in ways that feel meaningful, rather than gimmicky, making it a standout experience for duos. The writing is sharp, the pacing is excellent, and the sheer variety of gameplay ideas on display is genuinely impressive throughout. For those who enjoy platformers with a strong cooperative focus and great production values, Split Fiction delivers on every level. And fluid gameplay. Players control Alba, a skilled swordswoman who forms a powerful bond with a magical wolf named Neva as they battle through a corrupted world together. The relationship between the 2 characters evolves naturally throughout the game, and watching Neva grow from a wolf cub to a powerful adult companion is genuinely moving in a way few games achieve. Combat is lightweight but satisfying, combining melee strikes with classic platforming mechanics to create a rhythm that feels natural and rewarding. The art direction is breathtaking, drawing clear inspiration from Studio Ghibli in its color palette and expressive character design. Neva is a platformer that manages to be both mechanically strong and emotionally resonant in equal measure.
Number 6 belongs to Sonic X Shadow Generations, a spectacular 2-in-1 package that celebrates the Sonic franchise while delivering genuinely excellent platforming for both new and returning fans. The package includes a polished remaster of the beloved 2011 Sonic Generations, alongside an entirely new campaign featuring Shadow the Hedgehog as the playable protagonist. The blend of 2D and 3D platforming sections captures the best elements of classic and modern Sonic design, and the new Shadow campaign adds fresh mechanics that distinguish it from the remastered portion. Shadow comes equipped with unique abilities that open up different approaches to stages compared to Sonic, adding meaningful replayability. The open-world hub area ties everything together and rewards exploration with unlockable content. The soundtrack is excellent throughout, and the overall production quality makes this an essential purchase for any fan of fast-paced platforming experiences.
Sliding into number 7 is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, a brilliant Ubisoft release that reinvented the franchise through a tight and inspired Metroidvania format that surprised almost everyone who played it. Set in a mythological Persian world, players control Sargon, a gifted warrior navigating a cursed mountain filled with time-bending puzzles and razor-sharp enemies. The time manipulation mechanics are cleverly integrated into both combat and exploration, creating moments that feel inventive without overwhelming players with complexity. The map design is among the best in the Metroidvania genre, offering genuine satisfaction every time a new area opens up and connects back to familiar zones. Difficulty is calibrated well, providing challenge without frustrating those who are newer to the style of game. The art direction is vibrant and distinctive, making every area of the game feel visually memorable and purposefully designed throughout.
Number 8 is Bionic Bay, a physics-based 2D platformer that takes a bold and atmospheric approach to the genre, with mechanics that genuinely set it apart from the competition. Players take on the role of a scientist navigating a dangerous biomechanical world, using a unique swap ability that allows interaction with the environment in ways that keep puzzles feeling fresh and inventive. The swap mechanic essentially lets players exchange positions with objects in the environment, creating a puzzle platformer dynamic that rewards creative thinking and precise execution. The art style draws inspiration from brutalist architecture and classic cinematic platformers, giving the game a visual identity that feels completely its own. The level design challenges players consistently, with ever feeling unfair, and the atmospheric soundtrack enhances the tension throughout. For players seeking a platformer with genuine mechanical depth and a strong visual identity, Bionic Bay is a must. Coming in at number 9 is Shantae Advance Risky Revolution, a fascinating release that spent over 2 decades in development limbo before finally arriving in 2025 to the delight of longtime fans. Originally designed for the Game Boy Advance back in 2002, this game retains the charm and aesthetic of that era, while delivering tight platforming and adventure gameplay that holds up remarkably well in the modern era. Players control Shantae, a half-genie hero, navigating colorful worlds through dance-based transformations and classic action platforming. The game is packed with personality, humor, and nostalgic references that reward fans of the series while remaining accessible to newcomers discovering the franchise for the first time. The retro visual style is charming and cohesive, and the gameplay loop strikes a satisfying balance between exploration and challenge. It is rare for a game to survive such a long development journey and still feel genuinely great at launch. Number 10 brings us Little Nightmares 3, the continuation of Bandai Namco's beloved atmospheric horror platformer series that masterfully blends unsettling visuals with clever gameplay design. This entry follows Lo and Alone, 2 new protagonists searching for a way out of a place called the Nowhere, which is filled with terrifying oversized creatures and surreal nightmare-inducing environments. The game introduces full cooperative play, allowing 2 players to work together through its creepy world in a way that adds both tension and strategy to puzzle sections. The art direction continues the series' tradition of making every space feel deeply uncomfortable, yet visually stunning, drawing players into its strange world completely. Enemy encounters require stealth and timing rather than direct confrontation, which maintains a constant sense of vulnerability and dread. Little Nightmares 3 delivers exactly what fans of the series were hoping for and more. Arriving at number 11 is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, developed by the team behind Blasphemous and published as a brand new side-scrolling entry in this legendary action platformer series. The game combines intense combat with demanding platforming sequences across a variety of beautifully designed stages that feel both modern and faithful to the spirit of the original games. Players navigate through precise platforming challenges while dispatching waves of enemies using a fluid and highly responsive combat system that rewards mastery and fast decision-making. The difficulty is genuinely challenging in a way that classic Ninja Gaiden fans will recognize and appreciate, but the controls are tight enough to make every failure feel like a learning moment rather than an unfair outcome. The pixel art style is exceptional, bringing a gritty yet expressive look to the game that suits the tone perfectly. This is a strong revival of a franchise that has been dormant for far too long.
Number 12 is Constance, a late 2025 release that flew under the radar for many players, but absolutely deserves to be in any serious discussion about the best platformers of the era. The game impresses immediately with its distinctive visual style, which combines detailed pixel art with smooth animation to create a look that feels both nostalgic and refreshingly contemporary. The gameplay is challenging but deeply rewarding, with tight controls and imaginative level design that push players to think creatively and act precisely. The story is heartfelt and well told, adding an emotional layer to the platforming that elevates the overall experience beyond pure mechanics. Collectibles and optional challenges provide additional depth for completionists who want to spend more time in the world. For a game that received relatively little marketing attention, Constance is a genuinely impressive achievement that platformer fans should not sleep on. Coming in at number 13 is Windswept, a precision platformer that reveals its full depth gradually before transforming into one of the most demanding skill tests in the entire genre. Early stages introduce mechanics at a comfortable pace, making the game feel approachable and enjoyable for players of varying experience levels. However, as the game progresses, the challenge escalates dramatically, and later sections will push even experienced platformer fans to their absolute limits. The level design is clever and purposeful, with each obstacle feeling deliberately crafted rather than randomly placed to create artificial difficulty. The visual design is clean and readable, ensuring that even the most demanding sections never suffer from visual confusion or ambiguity. For players who thrive on mastering difficult games and find satisfaction in finally clearing a section after dozens of attempts, Windswept offers one of the most rewarding experiences available in the genre right now. Number 14 goes to Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo, a charming platform adventure that wears its Game Boy Advance influences proudly, while delivering a fresh and engaging experience for modern players. Players control Pipit, a bat-like character who uses a magical yo-yo to navigate top-down levels filled with puzzles, enemies, and secrets that reward thorough exploration. The game strikes an excellent balance between action and exploration, making each area feel like a small world worth investigating fully before moving on. The character design is full of personality, and the overall art direction gives the game a warm, approachable quality that makes it enjoyable for a wide range of players. Gameplay mechanics are introduced gradually and build on each other in satisfying ways, creating a sense of growth and progression that keeps engagement high throughout. This is exactly the kind of hidden gem that makes the platformer genre so consistently exciting to follow. At number 15, we have Demon Tides, a 2026 release that immediately caught attention with its inventive design and polished execution from a development team clearly passionate about the platformer genre. The game carves out its own identity through unique movement mechanics and a visual style that blends dark fantasy with expressive character animation to striking effect. Level design challenges players in creative ways, encouraging them to master the movement system before tackling the more demanding stages the game has in store. The combat integration feels seamless rather than tacked on, contributing to the overall flow of traversal rather than interrupting it with systems that feel disconnected. The atmosphere is rich and consistent, drawing players into its world through strong environmental storytelling and a carefully crafted sound design. For a relatively recent release, Demon Tides has already established itself as a genuinely noteworthy entry in the genre. Number 16 is Emberbane, a 2026 release that hit the market with impressive polish and a strong identity that immediately set it apart from other indie platformers releasing around the same time. The game combines sword-based combat with precise platforming across a fantasy world that feels cohesive and well-realized from start to finish. The combat system rewards patience and timing, asking players to read enemy patterns and respond with well-timed strikes, rather than relying on button-mashing strategies. Platforming sections are carefully paced and provide a satisfying counterbalance to combat encounters, keeping the overall rhythm of the experience varied and engaging. The art direction is clean and detailed, with environments that communicate their history and purpose without relying on excessive exposition. Emberbane is a strong example of how modern indie developers are continuing to push the platformer genre forward with confident and ambitious design choices. Coming in at number 17 is MIO Memories in Orbit, a Metroidvania that sets itself apart through a genuinely unique premise, involving an android exploring a massive technological arc overgrown with rogue machines. The exploration design is excellent, with the enormous ship environment offering layered, interconnected spaces that gradually reveal their secrets and hidden passages as players gain new abilities. The android protagonist has a fluid and satisfying movement set that makes traversal feel enjoyable, even when revisiting areas to unlock previously inaccessible routes. Narrative is delivered through environmental details and discovered logs, rather than lengthy cutscenes, which suits the lonely and atmospheric tone of the game beautifully. Enemy design is creative, reflecting the corrupted technology theme of the setting in ways that make encounters feel thematically consistent with the world building. This is a Metroidvania with genuine personality and strong mechanical foundations that rewards patient and curious players.
Number 18 belongs to Sword of the Sea, a visually breathtaking experience from Giant Squid that builds on the studio's impressive legacy of atmospheric and emotionally resonant games. The game takes the flowing movement concepts the studio has refined over previous projects and expands them into a vast and stunning world that is genuinely a pleasure to move through from beginning to end. The soundtrack, composed by Austin Wintory, is exceptional, matching the visual grandeur of the game at every turn and elevating the emotional impact of key narrative moments. Unlike some atmospheric games that sacrifice gameplay for aesthetics, Sword of the Sea ensures its core mechanics are enjoyable and well-designed, rather than merely decorative. The sense of scale and freedom the game delivers is remarkable, making exploration feel consistently rewarding rather than purposeless. This is one of those rare games that manages to be both a beautiful piece of art and a genuinely engaging experience to play.
At number 19, we have Crash Bandicoot 4, a franchise revival that took the bold step of genuinely expanding the series, rather than simply recycling what made the original successful. The quantum masks introduced in this entry each grant Crash unique powers that fundamentally change how players approach levels, adding meaningful variety to a formula that could easily have felt stale. The difficulty is notably higher than players might expect from a Crash Bandicoot title, with later stages requiring precision and persistence that will challenge even experienced platformer fans. The visual presentation is colorful and expressive, maintaining the irreverent humor of the original trilogy while showcasing the capabilities of modern hardware effectively. Collectibles and optional content provide substantial replay value for those who want to experience everything the game has to offer. This is the Crash Bandicoot game that fans have been waiting for since the original Naughty Dog era ended.
Number 20 goes to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, a showcase platformer that demonstrates exactly what can be achieved when talented developers fully embrace the capabilities of modern gaming hardware. The dimensional rift mechanic at the heart of the game allows players to instantly travel between different versions of levels in real time, creating gameplay scenarios that feel genuinely fresh and impossible on previous generations of hardware. The gunplay is excellent, with a satisfying variety of creative weapons that each feel useful and worth upgrading throughout the campaign. Visually, the game is extraordinary, with environments and character models that approach the quality of animated film in their detail and expressiveness. The story introduces compelling new characters alongside beloved returning ones, making it a worthwhile entry point for newcomers while rewarding longtime fans. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart represents the platformer genre operating at its absolute highest level of production quality.
At number 21, we have Pizza Tower, a fast-paced and wildly expressive 2D platformer that channels the manic energy of classic Wario Land games into something that feels entirely and brilliantly original. Players control Peppino, an anxious pizza shop owner who tears through levels at incredible speed, looking for ingredients and rescuing friends, before everything explodes around him. The cartoon art style is hyperactive and full of personality, with facial expressions and animation that constantly surprise and entertain in ways that few games manage to sustain. The level design rewards both speed and exploration, with hidden secrets and alternate routes that make replaying stages genuinely worthwhile, rather than obligatory. The escape sequences at the end of each level create intense time pressure scenarios that are as exciting as anything else in the platformer genre right now. Pizza Tower is loud, chaotic, and enormously fun in the best possible way. Number 22 is Celeste, a precision platformer that has become one of the most beloved entries in the genre thanks to its exceptional design and genuinely moving story about mental health and perseverance. Every mechanic in the game is built around the central dash ability, and the way levels challenge players to master and creatively apply this single tool is a masterclass in focused game design. The difficulty curve is expertly calibrated, with optional harder paths available for players seeking the ultimate challenge, without forcing them on anyone who prefers a more accessible experience. The pixel art is clean and evocative, with each area of the mountain having a distinct visual identity that reflects the emotional state of the protagonist at that point in the story. The soundtrack is exceptional, with compositions that perfectly complement the tension and atmosphere of each section. Celeste proves that a platformer can be mechanically demanding and emotionally resonant at exactly the same time.
Coming in at number 23 is Planet of Lana, a visually stunning cinematic platformer that delivers a quiet and beautiful adventure across an alien landscape filled with wonder and danger in equal measure. The game follows Lana and her newly befriended creature companion Mui as they traverse a world turned upside down by an invading mechanical force that has taken everything she loves. Puzzle design is thoughtful and relies heavily on the dynamic between the two characters, with Mui's unique abilities becoming essential for navigating obstacles and outsmarting enemies. The hand-painted art style is absolutely gorgeous, with panoramic vistas and detailed foregrounds that make every new area feel like stepping into a living painting. The pacing is deliberate, and the atmosphere is immersive, drawing players into the wordless emotional journey with remarkable effectiveness. Planet of Lana is the kind of platformer that stays with you long after the credits roll.
Number 24 is Sackboy A Big Adventure, a wonderfully crafted 3D platformer from Sony that brings the Little Big Planet universe into a more focused and traditionally structured platforming experience. Players guide the adorable knitted protagonist through a richly detailed wool-crafted world, filled with imaginative level themes and an impressive variety of gameplay ideas that keep each stage feeling distinct. The cooperative multiplayer option makes this an excellent choice for groups, with up to 4 players able to jump in and experience the adventure together with minimal friction. Collectibles are generously distributed throughout the world, and unlocking new costumes and cosmetics provides constant small rewards that encourage thorough exploration. The music-themed levels are a particular highlight, with stages choreographed to popular songs in ways that are both inventive and deeply satisfying to play through. Sackboy delivers consistent quality and genuine charm across its entire campaign, without significant dips in quality.
Closing out the list at number 25 is Hollow Knight, the game that started it all for Team Cherry and demonstrated that a small independent studio could produce a Metroidvania that rivals anything the genre has ever offered. Set in the ruined underground kingdom of Hollow Nest, players control a silent, nameless knight, exploring a vast and interconnected world of crumbling temples, ancient ruins, and forgotten civilizations. The combat is precise and demanding, with a parry system and range of charm-based ability customization that allows players to develop genuinely personal playstyles. The world building is extraordinary, communicating its lore entirely through environmental details, character dialogue, and item descriptions, without resorting to lengthy exposition. The atmosphere is melancholy and beautiful, with hand-drawn visuals and a hauntingly memorable Christopher Larkin soundtrack. Even years after its release, Hollow Knight remains one of the absolute best platformers ever made, and an essential experience for anyone who loves the genre.